Are you a woman who's going through a life transition, who wants to be financially resilient? If that is you, this is the right episode for you. As you know, I'm Leslie Urbis. I'm a registered dietitian and a personal trainer who is overcoming her selfless overachieving every single day and wholly embracing herself. And I am super excited today about this episode because this is one of my favorite things to talk about right now, and that is women being financially resilient, which is something that is kind of posh if you think about it, because what, we got bank accounts in like the 1950s or 80s without a man on it or whatever, right? So it's so many life changes. And today I have no one better to talk about it today, but Betty. Betty, how are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Same. I always say I'm fabulous, so I love how you use my word. Anyways, but we were talking before this, like so involved about all the pieces, just truthfully how women don't know. And I admitted to you, I truthfully didn't know a lot about money until about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, when I really just decided this thing that was causing me fear, anxiety, worry, I needed to handle. And so I know that you kind of have a very similar story of how you started. And I'd love to just hear, how did you get into this? Really, where did your story start for you to become financially resilient?
Well, my story started because my husband had a horrific accident and he should have died. Nobody understands why he didn't die because he should have bled out on the way to the hospital. But during that, I found out that my financial planner didn't ask me questions when I came to him for assistance because my husband's health insurance refused to pay for a lot of his medical bills. So I went to my financial planner. I said, I need money. He said, how much? I told him, but he never asked me why. And so because of that, I was charged a lot of money because I had to pay the 10% penalty because I was under 59 and a half. And so just having all of those things happen in my life made me aware of what's going on in more women's lives. And plus the way I was treated as a woman, that was another big deal to me. So then move many years down the road, um, my daughter ended up getting divorced, and I went with her to the attorney, just to support as a mom. And my background is compliance and legal, so I have a little bit of all that information with me too. The thing is, I watched her shut down. I watched how she, her physically and mentally, she shut down and she didn't know what questions to ask. She didn't know what to do. And I found the attorney didn't understand the financial vehicles that they had. So I was able to help her with that. And then all of a sudden I'm helping all these other women through divorce, which is one big transition. Not to speak of that, there's a lot of other transitions that women go through, but they they need the help. I'm surprised that they don't have the financial background and they don't understand. They're being led by, um, I guess, their husbands or ex-husbands, financial planners who are not necessarily being doing the best for them. So I want to make sure that I'll read the divorce decree or I'll sit down. I want to know what their goals are. I want to know what's going on with their kids. And we can sit down and we can come up with a financial plan. So not only them, but their kids are going to be financially resilient in the future because we want the best for our kids. And what happens if that ex-husband who's paying child support is in a car accident and now he can't pay child support? Well, I want to make sure that never happens. So does that answer some of those questions for you?
Totally. I think you nailed it. And I think you've literally hit on quite a few heads of, just being a woman myself and all of that, right? We sometimes rely on the man to do the finances. It's so
Hmm.
funny because when my husband and I got married, we were friends with somebody at the time who sat us down, and she was really good at stocks, right? She was a New York stock exchanger. She just didn't live there. And she was like, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this from the happy-go-lucky, you guys are getting married, but one day may not be a happy marriage way. And it was so funny
Yeah.
because she was like, we're going to keep yours, mine, and ours. And that's what we're doing. And at first I was really taken back, like, this isn't how it's supposed to go. But we both really loved it. And that really does help us to know, like, what we came to the table with is ours, right? And then we have
Mhm.
this thing. But since we've gotten married, I have paid a whole lot less attention to things because I'm like, well, that's his thing, right? Until
Mhm.
recently when I was like, this can't just be his thing, right? Because being a sound money manager is how you make more money, right? It's how you pay
Right.
attention. It's how you have that rational thought process in your head. And, you know, we were talking, and I'm loving books like The Millionaire Mind. I think it's called The Millionaire Mind by T. Harv
Okay.
Eker. Love that book. And he's got 17 principles. I've been frequently doing those. Love Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich. It's a seminar, and then there's a Born Rich book. Love his principles. Just bought Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm excited to hear that one. And another book, which is hilarious, that people have been telling me about this book since I became an entrepreneur. Always just found a reason not to get it. I don't read actual books. It doesn't make any sense. It was published so long ago. I'm not interested. And 4 times in 1 week, again, was this book brought up. It's called Money Drunk, Money Sober.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm super excited to read this. And I think it's shocking to me that I went basically 38 years of my life without caring a thing. Not true. When I was single by myself and I had just gotten my first job in the military, I was keen on my money and I was great with it. My ex-boyfriend's dad was like, wow, you invested in really good things. I was like, I don't know. I just did what they told me to do. And she was like, no, 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 this is really good that you produced this. I was like, cool, you know, so like all that happened. But then when I got married, I just kind of let him have it, right?
Oh, right. I got it.
Yeah, like you've got the reins, like this is
Mhm.
your thing. And women really go back on that. So I'm curious, you know, and helping other women, what do you see as kind of their story when they're coming to you, or their fear or their worry? You know, money is kind of scary to people, you know? So
Yeah.
what are you noticing?
It's the what exactly what you nailed the what is that hammer on the head or whatever. But it's true that women are afraid of money. They're afraid of making the wrong they're afraid of making the wrong decision so they don't make a decision. So I have different types of checklists and guides. I have a divorce guide for women that are contemplating that. I have a year-end checklist that I want them to look at different aspects of their financial world because things change every year. You know, you start out having a baby or you start out sending one off to college. So we want to make sure that you're looking at everything that you have. And if you go from being married to being single, you have to pay attention to what happened to your tax world because your tax world is going to change significantly from being married to being single. And so we always look at all of those different aspects. And I always tell people that life's a chocolate cake. I mean, I love chocolate cake.
True.
And and then you have the frosting. So the main part of that cake, though, is your financial well-being. So if you have enough money in your chocolate cake to pay all of your essentials, your, you know, any medical bills, any your all your living expenses and those types of things, I'd like to put that in kind of a conservative thing that makes sure that you have um, income coming in. All right. And then that frosting is once you have that chocolate cake all taken care of, then you can take extra money and go and invest in, well, right now I'd probably tell you to go and invest in precious metals. But that's
Hmm.
just to make, does that make sense to you? So
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, that's just my analogy. Cake is good with or without the frosting, but the frosting is the fun part. But the cake itself is essential to make sure that you're in place with the right tools to make sure that you have an income coming in when you're in retirement.
Yeah, totally. That's fabulous. I love it. And of course, I want the cake with an icing. What am I going to do without that? You know, it doesn't make any
Right?
sense. Yeah, so I love, 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 love that. Um, and I think that that's fabulous. So when people talk to you, they're not
Mhm.
just getting like, how do I do money now, but also how to invest your money in the best ways now. Now, let's say it changes in a year from now. Do they work with you and they get to do
Oh,
that as well?
absolutely.
Okay.
I have a meeting with my clients at least annually. If things are changing in life, though, I want them to call me and let me know so that we can make the adjustments as we go. But not necessarily how your portfolio or how your vehicles were that you're using for finance 3 years ago is what you want to be doing now. So we want to look at all of that every year to make sure you're making the right choices. And the thing is, we want your money working for you, and we want to make sure that, you're not just letting it sit there and it's not doing anything. We just want to make sure that you're doing that. And one of the other things I always look at is making sure that there's some sort of what I call living benefits. So if
Mm-hmm.
they were to become ill or injured, or they had income coming into them, so
Yeah.
that they don't have to worry about home bills.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I'm over here a little bit shocked because I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's truthful. Like, and that's what many of those books and things talk about, right? It's like
Hmm.
people talk about immediate money, but rich people don't talk immediate money. They talk net worth.
Right. Well, and network is good, but you also have to think about liquidity so that if there
Mm-hmm.
was something that happened, like I have a gal right now who's going through some medical issues, and so she needs money to pay for her hospital bills and things like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
we could go in and we were able to pull out, um, unfortunately, we had to pull out quite a bit of money, but it was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you just have to make sure that you're flexible on on everything. You have to be, what's the rate? You have to be able to pivot. So
Pivot,
because you don't
just like
know,
friends.
right?
Yeah.
You have no idea what's around the corner, right? I wish we
Mm-hmm.
did. So, we just want to make sure that we're good, and we made it through the political stuff. I just got through reading an email before getting on here going, oh my gosh, they're looking at now Secure 3.0. And I'm like, we just got through dealing with Secure Act 2.0. So what are they going to do to us now? So you have no control over that, but you do have control over your own finances and making sure that you have, like I said, that chocolate cake. So that part is safe. And then you can do whatever you want with the frosting, right?
Yeah, agreed. That's fabulous. And that's like the best way to end it. So when you want cake with the frosting, they need to find you. Where can they find you?
They can find me at my website is A&M Futures, which is plural, LLC.com. I'm actually going to be silly and give you my direct number. It's 602-524-9230. And you can
Mhm.
always reach me via email at betty@amfuturesllc.com.
I love
More
it.
than
See,
happy to help.
she's direct. She is ready to help you. Like, that's amazing, right? And I like how you're like, I'm direct. I'm going to give you my phone number. Like, way to go, like, let's do it. Anyway, so for all of you out there, please grab those. Those will be in the show notes below, of course, as well. And thank you so much. I really hope that every woman on here really goes to have the chocolate cake with the icing, especially because I talk about nutrition and fitness, margaritas and abs. You can have the cake and eat it too. And Betty's here to help you. So thank you
I'm
all.
thrilled.
Yeah, so thank you all so much. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.